What's up, and welcome to another pretentious review from Pretentious Pop Culture. Today, I, Justin, the Culture Coyote, will break down my thoughts after watching the Twilight Saga for the first time. Please remember to sink your vampire fangs into that like button and subscribe to stay sparkly. Ringing the bell will let you know when we have new content up on our channel, and you can subscribe to us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Please follow our partners for similar content. Adventures by Abels in the Bat Loop, Jake's Designs RW. Link in the description. Well, let's get into it. The Sparkly Vampire Saga. Let me just say, I had very low expectations for getting into this, but seeing how this was somehow in the top 10 on Netflix, I figured I would bite the bullet, and watch this entire franchise. First of all, Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson's acting, it's not as bad as I've been told. I mean, it's bad, but especially in the first movie. But you can track the improvement as each movie comes out. They do get better. Stewart in the first one just never really seems to emote, but in New Moon, Bella is quite the emotional wreck, and she can flex her underdeveloped acting muscles quite a bit. But she still has room for improvement from the second movie on, so you'll see it continue to get better. I honestly thought her best acting came out in the latter half of the franchise when she had developed subtle range in her moods and emotions. Robert Pattinson feels very bland in the first movie as well, but by the time we reach Eclipse, he has settled into the role very well, especially around members of the Cullen family. Taylor Lautner's portrayal of Jacob is actually impressive. While I don't think his improvements are as traceable as the other two young starlets, he remains a consistent level of just good throughout his appearances. This might be due to his multiple mood swings, which require a lot of emotional range, and he does do a pretty good job playing that. But he's very baseline for the whole franchise. So before we get into the meat with the story, I want to address the sparkly vampire meme. Yes, it's as bad as you can expect, but luckily it doesn't come up often enough to really detract from the experience, especially if you're already along for the ride. I mean, it doesn't ruin the whole movie. It is pretty dumb in my opinion, and I can see where everybody is hating on that. But with that out of the way, let's start this journey with our protagonist, Bella Swan, starting a new life in the small town of Forks, Washington, to live with her dad. And ultimately, we find out that she moved to give her mom space and the ability to travel, which is kind of nice and makes you think Bella is very mature for her age. But does that continue? No. Her dad is best friends with some local Native Americans, and Jacob is revealed to have some childhood memories with Bella. And he is instantly sidelined until the next movie. I didn't know Jacob was in this first movie. He's the werewolf Native American. So we meet him right at the beginning, and of course, Bella and him knew each other when they were kids. She drives to school with the truck that her dad got her for free, and you'd think that would be cool, but everybody at school think, and the truck is lame, so I guess she's lame. She meets up with some school paper students who will be her sideline friends, Anna Kendrick included, who just thrives in her role here as like valedictorian-esque student. And even here, you can see she's a much better actress than Stewart at this point in Stewart's career. Bella is introduced to Edward in science class, which immediately begins the awkward infatuation where she is so close to drooling whenever she sees him that you just want to throw water on her head and snap her out of it. And if I didn't say before, I don't know if the author intended this, but the movie makes it out that she's like in a trance, like someone gave her a love potion. But again, Edward he's literally a vampire. And that's what vampires do to people. They enthrall. And after a few weeks and exchanges, Edward saves Bella from a freak car accident. Very convenient for the plot, using his superhuman vampire speed and strength. And Bella, from this point on, becomes obsessed with him even more until she ultimately forces him into basically revealing that he is a good vampire who only drinks from animals. We also learn that Edward can read minds, but not Bella's for some reason, which, as far as I've been able to deduce after watching these, is the sole reason he is into her. And this does make a certain sense after a century of knowing what everybody is thinking. It would be a nice break to have like someone's thoughts be unpredictable for a change, but like this is the only reason I can see for him to be into her. Like that's it. There's just like very little chemistry there. And as far as Bella's concerned, she's either succumbing to his vampire enchantment involuntarily, or has like the damsel in distress syndrome because he saved her from the car accident, or maybe, which is my like prevailing theory, is that she's less in love with him in particular and more in love with the kind of life that being with a vampire promises, as she spends the next two movies just begging to be turned into a vampire. This fits her character the most, as she just refuses to try and connect with anybody in the mundane world. She's really not trying to develop a relationship with her dad or the school friends. She's just all about that. I like my alone time. I like the fringe society. And these characters' chemistry, like Edward and Bella, it seems so forced until the last two movies, when they have kind of like finally settled into their relationship. They're very different people at the beginning, and they have very little in common. But at least they spend a lot of time together getting to know each other, and I mean a lot. That's basically like the whole movie. It's just kind of them in one scene and another scene and another scene, and of course there's like the villain plot. And I particularly like the Cullen family throughout the movies, starting from here. Alice is a charming standout. I always love it when she's on the screen. She's great, and each character is unique, and some are fun, like Alice. And I, when they play baseball, it's a nice humanizing element of these immortal vampire creatures. And I know that this movie didn't come out yesterday, but the vampire powers are never that fun to watch. They're just like, okay, he's climbing a tree, he's jumping. It just doesn't look like it was made very well. But again, it's old. So basically, what we get with this first movie is like just a romance movie with a lack of physical affection, which means when that second movie comes out, we're like, we want some more. We want some physical for like the romance people. There's a lot of talking, a lot of establishment the characters for the duration of the franchise, and the climax is just really underwhelming. If I'd have seen this when it first came out, I probably wouldn't have been really excited to keep going. And then the characters haven't really endeared themselves to me yet at this point. They do later on, and this time because they're all on Netflix, I just kept going. Overall, I'd give this movie about a 6 out of 10. They do get better. If you want to know my thoughts on the rest, though, you can stay tuned to Pretentious Pop Culture on YouTube, and I'll keep reviewing them. New Moon is next up. That's the very Jacob focused one. And thanks for watching. Please remember to like the video and subscribe for more content.